Hi YouTube, it's me, Carrie. So are you into Sudoku puzzles like this YouTube channel Cracking the Cryptic? Well, I want to tell you some news in the Carrie KH world that I didn't actually know happened until recently. So if you search for the Sudoku subreddit, I don't browse this Reddit very often because I used to be really into Sudoku puzzles back in the late 2000s, but I've sort of drifted away from the fandom. But anyway, I was looking at this subreddit just randomly a few weeks ago, and if you sort by top of all time, you see a lot of Sudoku enthusiasts happy about, let's say, receiving a Sudoku console, which I actually got that for my birthday when I was in middle school too. So I feel you. But you scroll down, I think, so here's like the fourth or fifth highest post, but then this post is my Sudoku puzzle that I created in like 2011. And it's like the fifth highest post on the subreddit, and I didn't even know. So it was submitted by u/LA Navo4. And okay, so here's what happened with this Sudoku puzzle. I made it in middle school or something, and then 5, 6 years later in 2016, when TWOW was blowing up and I had a Discord server of fans, I shared my Sudoku puzzle in there as well, but it actually had some errors. So the TWOWer Yesoen gracefully corrected the puzzle so it actually worked. But the gimmick is that there's 8 overlapping Sudoku puzzles, and each one has a different set of rules, but in the overlap, the boxes there have to follow both rule sets. And I'll go into each one individually later. But I actually wanted to try showing you the start of each one. So I want to try to find an empty version that doesn't have it filled in yet. Oh wow, okay, so this is where it came from. It actually came from the 10 Words of Wisdom subreddit. You can see 9 years ago, August 2016, so it's even earlier than I thought. But yeah, it was fixed, renumbered by Yesoen. So, also congrats on 3rd place in TWOW. But I thought, let's just go over. I'm not going to solve the whole thing because it would take forever. And also, the original Reddit poster said that it took them 3 hours, three whole days. Sorry about that. But let's just go over the basics. So, the top Sudoku is just normal Sudoku rules. So that's kind of boring. But let's see if we can solve at least one number just to demonstrate how it works. So let's say 9 and 9 here. So in this top row, it can't be in any of the right 2 squares, so it has to be here, right? Boom. So now Sudoku with the greater than and less than signs, when this pink Sudoku is fully filled in, every greater than and less than inequality stands true. So if this says 6 is greater than, then the number here can only be 1 through 5. But it's also, this number is greater than 3. So actually this number can only be 4 or 5. But we don't know which one yet. So I guess to demonstrate just the basic way that this works is 2 is greater than, what number could go in the middle that's less than 2? Well, it's got to be 1. And it's also funny how every inequality next to it is like less than because, every number is bigger than 1. That's not super visible. Let's change the color. Okay, so that's inequality Sudoku. And then there's killer Sudoku, which, by the way, I don't know if all of these variations are legitimate or well known in the community. Some of them I just made up. But killer Sudoku is real. I think it actually is quite well known in the community. And the small numbers are equal to the sums of the numbers within the region. So if I put in 4 numbers here in the final solution, they have to add up to 22. Here, this is just a single box with one number saying 1, so that also has to be 1. Quite boring. And then there's also 1 here. So I don't know why I did that twice. But there's interesting things you can glean from the summations. 22 has to be 3 numbers adding to 22. But since they're in the same row, they can't repeat. So it's just mathematically true. The only combination that will work is 6, 8, 9. But there's an 8 in this Sudoku. So that means it has to only... Wait. No, 6, 7, 9. 6 plus 7... Yeah, 6, 7, 9. Sorry, I messed up there. So 6, 7, 9, but also there's an 8 here. But I don't know which is which, but we'll figure out later. Also, this 11 probably tells you something. Actually, it does tell you something. So the first 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, add up to 10. So the only way to create 11 with any duplicates is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Unless you duplicate something 3 times. But if you look at the formation, there's no way a number appears in this shape 3 times. So you know that there's going to be 2 1s in here. But we don't know which. I'll figure it out later. Sudoku X is also a very well-known one in the community. The diagonals also have to have the numbers 1 through 9. So that adds another limitation. I can't really instantly figure out what the limitation... Oh, wait, no, never mind. I don't know if I should keep staring or move on because I don't want to delay. But I think everyone knows how this works. I'm trying to see, like, on this diagonal, 9 can't go here or here. Or 3... I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay, offset Sudoku. I don't know if this one is normal, but basically, in addition to each row, column, and box having numbers 1 to 9, each square color also has to have numbers 1 to 9. And you can see that, like, they're all colored, so the mint green centers are basically a set of 9. And it kind of puts this Sudoku in a, like, 3 or 4 dimensional space. I'm not quite sure. But it, like, yeah, that's fun. Okay, strange boxes. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. The boxes are not squares, duh. And then consecutive Sudoku. If actually, well, I'm trying to. I want to solve at least one number so you kind of get the vibe of like how this works. Oh, here we go. Okay, so do you see this box here? It's kind of shaped like a trapezoid. Where's the 9 gotta go? Wait, no. Sorry, I did that wrong. I don't know. Oh, that's I'm trying to figure out. I'm sure one of them is like shooting out, like screaming at you at the audience, but I just can't see it. Obviously, the overlap boxes stay square. Okay, consecutive Sudoku. If two numbers next to each other are consecutive, there's a pink bridge between them. Otherwise, there's no pink bridge. So this is kind of like an ultimatum rule. Like, it's not just that pink bridges tell you they're consecutive. It also tells you if there's no pink bridge, it has to be non-consecutive. And, here's 2, so you know that one of these two above and below have to be 1, and the other one has to be 3, because those are the only two numbers consecutive to 2, and they're not the same. And then finally, we have addition Sudoku. When the puzzle is solved, the numbers highlighted in blue will add up to the numbers in red beneath them. And this is kind of fun because, like, the numbers are no longer just abstract, like, symbols. They actually have semantic meaning. And, well, like, it could be like 3 plus 4 equals 7, but, obviously we don't know that yet. But what's fun is that if you have two one-digit numbers adding up to a two-digit number, well, the tens place has to be a 1. Like, that's just mathematically the way it is. And also, what's going on here? 3 numbers are adding up to a one-digit number, so it's got to be something like 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. But that means this number can only be 6, 7, 8, or 9. So that tells you something interesting also. And then that loops back to normal Sudoku. So we're all done. But I want to, like, stay true to my word and get at least one number in every puzzle using the weird rule. I just don't want it to take forever. So let's do... Okay, here's another one. 3 plus what equals 8? It could be 4 if you carry a 1, or 5. But since 4 is already in this row, it has to be 5. Which means that these 3 numbers do not carry the 1, which is helpful to know, I guess. And, yeah, okay, well, I already filled that out. I think that gives you a vibe. Okay, so also with 2 here, it's like, it could be 1 and 6, or 4 and 3. Those are the only options, because it can't be 2 and 5. Let me think. With this consecutive one, okay, so I'm looking at like sort of 8, and then you have a bar. This has to be 7 or 9, and that's sort of the pattern we're going to use to get more of these clues. So let's look at another consecutive. So 5, this is 4 or 6. This is 3, 5, or 7 here, but that's not very helpful. 4, 5. Oh, here we go. Okay, so here's going to be our clue. What numbers are consecutive to 4? It's going to be 3 or 5, but 5's already in this box, so that's got to be a 3. Also, a very simple one is just 1 here, consecutive. You can't have a 0 in a Sudoku puzzle, so we're going to write it with a 2. So I think that's sort of how... Okay, actually, let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4... Well, this could be 1 and 2. I was sort of thinking, like, within this box, if you have 2 unknowns, but they're consecutive, looking at what's even remaining in the box can tell you a lot about, like, what's even allowed. Because this can't be 7 or 8, because the 8's here, but it also can't be 8 and 9, because of the 8. So all of those are cut out, so it has to be 1 and 2, because 3, 4, 5, 6 are already taken. So there we go, that's 1 and 2. And then this must be, well, 7, 8, and 9 we don't really know. Well, we know 7 doesn't go here, but we don't know any of the rest. So I'll just leave it at that for now. That's basically how you solve consecutive. Let's get these bottom 3 because, well, they're the ones that seem to stump me the most. Update from Future Carrie. So I got stuck for the next 20 minutes or so, and I didn't want the video to get boring, so I'll end it at that. But if you want to try this Sudoku puzzle out yourself, I'll put the links in the description. Also, thank you to all the Sudoku enthusiasts who checked out my Super Sudoku and posted on it. And also, there's people in the comments who said like, "Good job, it must have been really tricky. I'll sure to try it out soon." Well, 2 years ago, but Terezija LOL, hopefully you had fun with it. Looks dope. Thank you, MTO. And someone who's deleted says, "I don't think I belong in the subreddit. It's really impressive." Thank you. This is all really cool to see the enthusiasm. But yeah, like, thank you for watching this Lazy KH video. If you're a Sudoku enthusiast, let me know in the comments, and let me know what your favorite Sudoku variation is, whether it's in this puzzle or not. Maybe there's a Sudoku variation out there that I've never even heard of, and you can talk about it in the comments. All right, bye-bye, everyone.